The ParentSquare Schoology course here is listed. If you'll go to that, then you'll be able to follow along. There are live links in the presentation. ParentSquare is Coppell's answer to Senate Bill 944, passed in May of 2019. It says that educational records need to be kept, and that any time that any student information, either communication between staff members or communication between a staff member and a student, is an educational record, and that those must be retained by a custodian of record. And you as a teacher are a temporary custodian of record. So instead of taking screenshots and archiving all of the text messages that go back and forth, we're going to use ParentSquare to do all of those communications. This is further about the temporary custodians of public information. You can pause the video and read through those if you would like. What it means is the way that you are going to communicate with students and parents in the district are through the use of ParentSquare District Email, Schoology, and Home Access Center. Any other professional social media needs to be archived through Archive Social. If you use text message to communicate with staff members, you still must follow the retention guidelines. They can be found in Board Policy CPC Legal. From the employee handbook, it is inappropriate to use any social media site to communicate with a student. So it is inappropriate to send direct messages using Facebook or Twitter or any other social media site. Text messages may not be sent to a student. This is a change. It used to say that text messages could be sent to more than one student at a time. It does not say that anymore. You may not send text messages. ParentSquare will allow you to do that. Just going to buzz through these examples if you'd like to pause and read. Basically, what this says is we would like for you to use work devices to conduct work business. So if it's personal, you can use your personal text messaging or social media. If it's professional, please use the tools that you have been given. One assurance that we want to make sure that we point out is that this does not open your phone to an open records request. We are asking you to put ParentSquare on your personal device. We cannot mandate that you put ParentSquare on your personal device, but we are asking that you do. If you do put ParentSquare on your personal device and use it to communicate with students and with teachers, then that takes your personal device off the table as far as an open records request, because we have access to all of the information that was sent on ParentSquare one direction to the other already. So we don't need to look through your device. If, however, you send a text message to a student or to a parent and they would like to see further whatever may have been sent from there, then they may in fact make an open records request, and you would have to then produce your phone or device within 10 days of the request. So what does ParentSquare do? It allows you to text, email, have push notifications, voice calls, website. It is compatible with Android and Apple. Again, these links in here are all live. So there's some training. You can go through and click on these links and go through some significant training. They've got 25-minute, 30-minute videos. They also have 2 to 5-minute videos as well. On the next page, I have compiled a list of some of these trainings that you may find handy: administrators, teachers, and then multi-campus user training. If you deal with students on more than one campus, you'd want the multi-campus user training tools, and you can go in and you can look through those as you would like. So let's take a look at ParentSquare here. This is what it looks like as you are in it. Notice in the upper left-hand corner, this shows the name of the school district. For years, it will say Coppell ISD. Below it, it will have the name of your school. If you have access to multiple schools, it'll say switch schools underneath it. If you have students, your own personal students in the district, they're listed below that. And then below that, these are the ways that you will send communications out. 2 main ways that you'll send a communication. You'll make a post. We'll talk about that first. That's to a group of people. Think class or small group or anything more than about 5 people. You would want to make a post. That is going to send an email to the people that are involved, but it will also make a post to their page. So they will get notified that it's there, and they will have that as an email. The other way that you would send information would be on a message. Think text message there. So small groups, less than 5, maybe a student and their 2 parents, or maybe 3 or 4 students. These can all be sent anonymously, meaning that they would be blind copied. They would know it's coming from you, but they wouldn't know how many other people got that same message. We'll talk about messages in just a little bit. Right over here, it says my classes, my school classes and groups. On yours, when you click on that, it's going to show you all the different classes and groups that you are a part of. So that's just the basics of what your ParentSquare will look like. I would like to show you how to make a post. So you would come over here to where it says communicate, go underneath communicate, click where it says posts. Once you get there, it's going to bring up a window that looks a lot like an email composition email. So where you're going to cite to. If you click there in to, it will pull up all of the different groups that you can send that message to. Once you've chosen who to send the message to, you can compose your message. Now, I'll show you here that we're going to send this to 4th grade, and it says who should see this here. Here we've got staff and parents as an option. If you click on this button, you're going to be able to see staff and parents for elementary students. If, however, you are a secondary teacher, you will see staff, parents, or students, and you can send that to any one of those groups of people. I'm in the subject line, type field trip to the zoo. We've got a picture down here, and we've got the writing for the information that we've got below it. Went ahead and enlarged the writing a little bit so that you can see, you can change the font and style and color of that. And then you would post this. Now, this so far seems a lot like any other software or any other email program. But I want you to see what happens when someone has chosen that they want this to be sent to them in Japanese. So this is the same post that we just made, but ParentSquare has translated that for us. Now in Coppell, we have the top 15 languages that are used in Coppell supported in ParentSquare. So if a family at home would like to get their information in Chinese or Russian, Vietnamese, Arabic, Japanese, Spanish, Portuguese, French, all of those are options where the teacher will type it in the native language to the teacher, and then it will appear for the families in the language that they have chosen. And if one parent would like to have the information brought in Spanish and the other parent would like to have the language brought in Vietnamese, that absolutely is okay as well. It will translate for each parent individually. Another cool thing about ParentSquare that I want to point out is on this post that we've made, if you'll notice right down here, there's a little eyeball and it says 3 notified. If I click on that link that says notified, it's going to take me to a screen that looks like this, and it's going to show me all of the people that it has been sent to and how they are consuming it. I do want to talk for a moment about digest. Now here where it says pending digest, parents have the opportunity to choose how they would like to receive notifications from ParentSquare. They can receive those notifications immediately on the app. If they've downloaded the app, they can choose to get those immediately by text message, immediately by email, all of those, or they can do what's called an email digest. What the email digest does is it takes all of the ParentSquare information that has happened for that student in all of their classes during the day, and it puts it all into one email that gets sent at the end of the day so that the parent can look at that, read through one email, and see the headlines and read the body of each of the posts, each of the messages that had been sent that day. But once we're in here, we can see who has read it, when they've read it, who has gotten the email, and who knows the information that we are sending along. The other way that you would communicate with somebody on ParentSquare is through a message. Now, remember, the post is for a larger group, a class, or a small group within the class. The message is going to be to send to 1 or 2 students or parents. So over on the left-hand side, you'll find messages, and click there. It'll open up a new message. Now you can send it to the selected only students. Again, if you're a secondary teacher, you have that option. For elementary teachers, your only option is parents, but you can send it to students and parents or either of the two. If you'll type in the name of the person that you would like to send it to, it should pop up and self-populate a list below. Be sure that you check the box of the student that you want to send that message to, and then notice that it then populates in the recipients area here. So if you only wanted to send it to one of these parents, you would still click this box, and then once you've chosen here, you can just X out whoever it is that you didn't want that to go to. You've got a couple options again below here if you have multiple people in the recipients box to send this as a private message. That is, you're sending the same message to 2 or 3 or 4 people. and it's like a blind copy. They don't know that it's going to anybody else. And when they reply to you, it's only coming back to you. The other option would be to do a group message. If you do a group message, that's going to send it to everybody. Everybody knows that it was sent to everybody. And then any reply is also going to be sent to everybody. And you can do that in any way that you would choose. Then you would type in the message, come over here and hit send, and it's going to send it. This is a great way to congratulate somebody or to praise a student with their parents for something they did in class today. It's a great way to encourage them to get some late homework in or to invite them to tutorials. These would be great ways to do that. This is just like any other message screen. These are the threads over here on this side. And then on this side, this is going to be what the actual message is. When the person chooses the language that they would like, it translates messages as well. So imagine if you've got a ELL student in your classroom and you want to make sure that they understand the directions that you've given. You can send them a text message and type it on your phone in your native language. Mine would be English. And then that student could then read it in their native language, whatever it is, and type a message back to me, asking me questions or making sure that I understand that they either do or do not understand what the task at hand is. This is an excellent way for an immediate two-way communication between teachers and students. And again, this is not a text message. This is using ParentSquare. This is in compliance with board policy and with Senate Bill 944. Another way that this might be used is if you've got small groups of kids around campus or in the hallways or in other classrooms doing some reading with other groups, they can have their iPad with them or they can have their cell phone with them. You can send a message here and say, okay, guys, it's time to come back to class. And then everybody can know at that point and be notified that it's time to come back in. So the next question is, okay, that's great. How do the parents know that they should be doing this? Communications did send an email last year inviting everyone into ParentSquare, and we will continue to try to invite people at the district level. However, we found that there's a much greater response when they are invited by the teachers at the building level. So we've got lots of information here. Again, these are all hot links. We've got lots of information here, videos and handouts to frequently asked questions, ways that you can help us invite parents into ParentSquare. This is what the parents see. They've got an app that looks just like this. They've got information that's coming up. They also can look at it at parentsquare.com. And when they log in, it looks a lot like the one that you have access to that you can look at. Theirs is more for receiving the information. Yours is more for creating that information. And then once again, once they get into ParentSquare, they have access to their account, and then they can choose their preferences. Here they can do their notification settings, which is going to be how and when those alerts come in, whether that be by text message, by email, or by the app. And directly underneath it is the language setting, where the people can choose which language they would like to receive the information in. Again, this is a great tool that you can use in your classroom to communicate. It's got some really powerful tools that we will explore later. But at this point, we just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of how ParentSquare works very generally and what you can do to help to leverage this great tool that we have.